What if I told you that the moments you feel most lost, most uncertain, are not signs of weakness? What if your deepest, most gnawing questions, the ones that keep you awake in the dead of night, questioning your career, your relationships, your very purpose, are not your enemies? What if they are the birthplace of your strongest convictions? This is a paradox the modern world of quick fixes and shallow affirmations refuses to entertain. We are told to crush our doubts, to ignore them, to smother them with positivity. I am here to tell you that is the path to a fragile mind. A mind built on the sand of unexamined belief will collapse at the first sign of a storm. An iron mind, however, an iron mind is forged in the fire of profound questioning. I learned this not in a university classroom, but in the crucible of my own life. Years ago, I had built an empire in the tech world. I had the success, the recognition, the wealth, everything society tells you equates to a well-lived life. But internally, I was a battlefield. My belief in my own competence was absolute, but it was brittle. One bad quarter, one product that failed to launch, one key partner who walked away, and my entire sense of self would shatter. My faith was in the outcome, in the external validation. When that vanished, so did my peace. The doubt that followed was not a gentle inquiry, it was a destructive tidal wave. It was only when I was forced to confront that wreckage that I discovered the wisdom of the ancients, particularly the Stoics. They didn't offer me comfort, they offered me tools. They taught me that doubt is not a fault in the system, it is a feature. It is the mind's natural stress test, designed to reveal the cracks in your thinking before life does it for you, often with far more brutal consequences. The Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius reminded himself constantly to examine his own judgments. He knew that an unexamined belief is a liability. Your doubt, when you have the courage to face it, strengthens your convictions. It burns away the trivial and the inherited, leaving only what is true and what is yours. So I ask you, when was the last time you allowed a doubt to truly challenge you? Not as a threat to be eliminated, but as a teacher to be respected? Think of a time a significant doubt about a job, a belief, a person, forced you to dig deeper, to clarify what you truly stand for. That moment of struggle was not you breaking down, it was you building up. Now let's draw a critical distinction, one that separates a resilient mind from a dogmatic one. The difference between blind faith and an examined faith. Blind faith is a fortress with no windows, defending itself from all inquiry. It is rigid, fragile, and ultimately weak. Examined faith, the kind a Stoic cultivates, is an inner citadel built on the bedrock of reason and experience. It welcomes scrutiny because it knows that every challenge it survives makes it stronger. Epictetus, a man born a slave who became one of the great Stoic teachers, gave us the most powerful tool for this examination, the dichotomy of control. He said, "Some things are within our power, while others are not." This simple idea is the key to navigating the turbulent waters of faith and doubt. Your beliefs, your principles, your responses, these are within your power. External events, the opinions of others, the outcomes of your efforts, these are not. Let me tell you about a mentee of mine, a brilliant young woman named Elena. She had founded a nonprofit based on a deeply held belief in social justice. But after 2 years of relentless work with little visible progress, she came to me, broken. Her faith in her mission was wavering. "Cassian," she said, "I'm pouring my soul into this, and nothing is changing. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe this can't be done." Her doubt was focused entirely on what she could not control: the slow pace of social change, the apathy of donors, the systemic problem she was fighting. I guided her through an exercise. I asked her to list the core principles that drove her to start the organization in the first place. Beliefs in compassion, in effort, in personal responsibility. Then I asked her, "Can you, today, act with compassion? Can you, today, apply your best effort? Can you, today, take responsibility for your corner of the world? Her focus shifted from the external outcome to her internal actions. Her faith wasn't in changing the world anymore. It became an active, daily faith in her own principles. The doubt didn't vanish, but it was disarmed. It was no longer a paralyzing force, but simply data about the external landscape. Her inner citadel was secure. Let's make this practical for you. Take a moment right now. Think of a core belief that is currently being tested by doubt. Now, draw a line down a piece of paper. On the left side, write down all the aspects of this situation you cannot control. The economy, what other people think, the final result. On the right side, write down what you can control. Your attitude, your effort, your next action, your integrity in the process. Where have you been placing the majority of your energy? Is your belief system a fortress built on the solid ground of your own reasoned choices, or is it a house of cards swaying in the wind of external circumstances? There is a reason we call this channel the Iron Mind Forge. Iron is not found in nature as a finished sword. It is ugly, impure ore, pulled from the dirt. To become steel, it must be subjected to unbearable heat and repeated, violent blows from a hammer. It is the adversity that transforms it. Your character and your beliefs are no different. Comfort does not build character. Ease does not forge conviction. Adversity is the forge. Seneca, another great Stoic, wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." He saw challenges not as unfortunate interruptions to a peaceful life, but as the very curriculum of a meaningful one. Every time life tests you, with a financial loss, a betrayal, a health crisis, it is asking you a fundamental question: what do you truly believe? In that moment, your beliefs will do one of two things. They will either crumble into dust, or they will crystallize into something harder, purer, and more powerful than before. I remember my own crucible moment with perfect clarity. The burnout I mentioned earlier wasn't just a matter of exhaustion. It culminated in a severe health scare that landed me in a hospital bed, staring at a white ceiling, the beeping of machines the only soundtrack to my failure. My core belief system at the time was built around the idea that my value was equivalent to my productivity. My worth as a man was tied to the success of my company. Lying there, unable to work, unable to even check an email, that belief didn't just crack, it disintegrated. The heat of that adversity was immense. The hammer of doubt struck me again and again. If you are not your success, what are you? If you are not your work, who are you? For days, there was only the terrifying void of that question. But slowly, painfully, I began to forge a new answer. I started to build a belief not in what I could do, but in who I could be. A belief in resilience. A belief in presence. A belief in the quiet strength of a mind that could be at peace even when the world around it was in chaos. That belief, forged in the fires of collapse, has been unshakable ever since. Look at your own life. Think of the greatest challenge you have ever faced. Did it shatter your worldview, or did it clarify your core values? We often try to build our lives in the calm valleys, avoiding the treacherous mountains of adversity. We crave comfort, thinking it will bring us peace. But the truth is, the valley offers no view. The strength, the perspective, the unshakable conviction, that is only found on the peaks after the grueling climb. Are you avoiding the heat, thinking it will keep you safe, when in reality it's preventing you from becoming steel? Understanding the nature of doubt and the role of adversity is the foundation. Now, we build the practical framework. An iron mind isn't a gift, it's the result of a disciplined daily regimen. Here are the strategies you can implement, starting today, to move from theory to practice. First, the practice of daily reflection. The Stoics called it keeping a philosophical journal. At the end of each day, ask yourself two simple questions. What challenged my beliefs today? How did my response align with my core principles? This isn't about judging yourself. It's about observing. It's about gathering data on the structural integrity of your own mind. You can't reinforce a wall until you know where the cracks are. This practice, over time, turns you from a passive victim of your own thoughts into an active architect of your mindset. Second, embrace the powerful tool of negative visualization, or, as the Stoics called it, premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. This is not pessimism. It is strategic resilience training. Spend 5 minutes each morning contemplating the potential loss of things you value, your job, your health, a relationship. Imagine how you would navigate that loss. The goal isn't to create anxiety, it's to do the opposite. It does two things. First, it inoculates you against the shock of future loss, preparing your mind for adversity. Second, and more importantly, it fills you with profound gratitude for what you have right now. A belief that can withstand the thought of loss is a belief worth having. Third, ensure your action is aligned with your values. A belief is not something you have, it's something you do. You can say you believe in honesty, but the proof is in not lying when it's inconvenient. You can say you believe in discipline, but the proof is in getting up when the alarm goes off. Define your 3 most important personal principles: integrity, compassion, courage, whatever they may be. Then, every single day, consciously take one small action that embodies one of those principles. Action is the forge that turns abstract belief into concrete character. I had a mentee, a man named David, who was paralyzed by the fear of his business failing. His belief in himself was fragile. I didn't give him affirmations. I gave him the task of negative visualization. He spent weeks contemplating the worst-case scenario until it lost its emotional power over him. Then we set one simple, aligned action. Every day, he had to make one difficult phone call he'd been avoiding. That was it. Through the practice of facing potential negatives and taking deliberate action, his belief in his own capability became unbreakable. He later told me, "I stopped trying to believe I could do it. I just started doing it, and the belief followed." So I ask you, do your daily habits reflect your deepest values? Or is there a gap between the person you claim to be and the person your actions reveal? What is one principle you are willing to not just believe in, but to live by, starting today? We must address a critical danger on this path, the point at which healthy doubt metastasizes into destructive cynicism. Healthy doubt is a scalpel, it is precise. It seeks to cut away falsehood to reveal truth, and its goal is to heal and strengthen. Cynicism is a rust that corrodes everything it touches. It doesn't question, it dismisses. It doesn't seek truth, it assumes everything is a lie. It leads not to strength, but to a paralysis of the will. I have walked in that desolate landscape. After my business and my health collapsed, my initial healthy doubt about the hustle culture curdled into a deep cynicism. I doubted everyone's motives. I doubted the possibility of genuine connection. I doubted the point of any striving whatsoever. I was intellectually sharp, but spiritually dead. I was an observer of life, not a participant, anchored by my own corrosive inaction. The Stoic antidote to this poison is not a leap of faith, but a step of action. When you are lost in a fog of uncertainty, you cannot think your way out. You must act your way out. You must be decisive, even when you lack perfect information. The paralysis of cynicism is fed by endless contemplation. Confidence, on the other hand, is built through the momentum of small, deliberate wins. This brings us to the micro-challenge. When doubt threatens to paralyze you, you must shrink the battlefield. Don't try to solve your entire life's purpose. Don't try to fix the crumbling faith in your career. Focus on the smallest possible action you can take that moves you forward, even by an inch. If you doubt your ability to get healthy, your micro-challenge isn't to commit to a punishing gym routine for the rest of your life. It's to put on your shoes and walk for 10 minutes. Today. That's it. If you are paralyzed by doubt in your relationship, your micro-challenge isn't to fix everything. It's to have one honest, 5-minute conversation about a single, small feeling. If you doubt your entire career path, your micro-challenge is to send one email to ask for a 15-minute conversation with someone in a field that intrigues you. The purpose of the micro-challenge is to break the feedback loop of cynicism. Inaction breeds doubt, which breeds more inaction. A small, decisive action, however insignificant it seems, proves to your mind that you are still in control of your choices. It generates a flicker of confidence, and with that flicker, you can take the next small step. Ask yourself honestly, is your doubt currently serving as a catalyst for deeper inquiry, or has it become an anchor of inaction? What is the smallest, most manageable step you can take right now, in this very moment, to move from the paralysis of cynicism to the momentum of action? We have journeyed through the nature of doubt, the wisdom of the Stoics, the crucible of adversity, and the practical strategies for building an unshakable mind. Now, we bring it all together into the core principle of this forge. We must synthesize this entire process. The modern world presents faith and doubt as mortal enemies in a zero-sum game. It tells you that to have faith, you must eradicate doubt. This is a profound and damaging falsehood. As we have seen, they are not opposites. They are the two essential forces in a dynamic, lifelong process of forging inner resilience. They are like the hammer and the anvil. You need both to shape the steel. Doubt without faith becomes cynicism, a corrosive force that dissolves all meaning and paralyzes action. It is the hammer striking cold, brittle iron, which only shatters. Faith without doubt becomes dogma, a rigid, fragile belief system that fears inquiry and shatters under the first real pressure from life. It is the anvil with no hammer, a passive, untested block. The iron mind approach is to understand that these two forces work in concert. Your faith, your core principles, your purpose, this is the raw material, the heated iron on the anvil. Your doubt, your questions, your critical examination, this is the hammer. Each blow of the hammer, when applied with wisdom and intention, beats out impurities, compresses the structure, and makes the final blade stronger, sharper, and more resilient. True, unshakable belief is not the absence of questions. It is a state of being that has been tested by the hardest questions and has emerged not only intact, but stronger. It is the quiet confidence of a mind that is no longer afraid of uncertainty because it has trained itself to navigate, learn from, and even leverage it. It is the peace that comes from knowing your inner citadel is built not on shifting sands of external validation, but on the bedrock of principles you have forged yourself in the fires of your own life. This is not a one-time event. It is a continuous practice. Life will never stop presenting you with challenges. The world will never stop presenting you with reasons to doubt. The work of the forge is never truly finished. But with these tools, with this mindset, you no longer need to fear the fire. You can learn to welcome it. So, embrace your next doubt. When it arises, do not treat it as an intruder. Greet it as a sparring partner, as your greatest teacher. It is there to show you where the work needs to be done. It is your invitation to grow stronger. In the comments below, I want you to share one moment, one story from your life, where a profound doubt ultimately made you stronger. Let's create a testament to the power of examined belief. Unshakable belief isn't the absence of doubt. It is doubt, transformed by wisdom.